Hello everybody. I just wanted to do my review on the Sequro GuardPro2, and this is a self-contained security system with two. This kit normally comes with one camera, and you can buy a second camera separate camera separate is what you can do. When comparing this to the Harbor Freight system that a lot of you have seen and a lot of you have purchased, this one only comes with one camera, but the cost of this kit and a second camera is on par with what the Harbor Freight unit costs. So that's just something to keep in mind. I just want to go through the settings real quick, and then I'll give you my impression of it, show you some videos that it's recorded, and then we'll go from there. As you can see on the screen with two cameras, it doesn't fill up the whole screen. This is this is the screen here, and then you've got the video kind of in the center when you have two cameras. When you click on one of the cameras, it switches and it becomes full screen on one of the cameras. That flickering that you see is just the camera. That's not doing that in real life here. It's just because of the frequency that it's refreshing. So you can switch back and forth between single camera and multiple cameras. And my guess is if you're using four cameras, these boxes would move up and two boxes would be at the bottom, and it would fill the entire screen. But you can switch to this camera here, and you can see either camera like that. There was an update when I first turned this on. When it detects motion, this little circle right here shows red to demonstrate which camera is recording the motion. So that's how it does that, and it makes a beep. But one of the distinguishing things of this unit from the Harbor Freight unit that I think is the most important is that there are two huge features that this has over the Harbor Freight unit that would lead me to recommend this one over the Harbor Freight unit. The first one is it has HDMI out, so you can plug this into a big monitor if you so desire. The other thing is that it has a battery. The monitor has a battery in it. You can carry this around your house, like say you go to bed at night. You can pick this up and take this to your bedroom and have the monitor in another room anytime you want, and carry this outside, whatever you want to do, because it has a battery in it and it's portable. The only thing you lose by it picking it up and taking it with you is the remote features, the over the internet features, because it will no longer be plugged into your router. But in normal everyday use, you would leave this plugged into your router and plugged into the wall, and it would charge the battery, and you will have the remote camera features. So in order to get to the settings, you hit this home button right here, and these are all your settings. I'll go through them real quick. Clicking on this here, this is the brightness of the picture that you see. You can change it for all four cameras. This is the pairing. If you want to pair it, like say you bought another camera, I had to do this because I had an extra camera. If you buy a third camera or a fourth camera, this is where you would pair them up. And this is where you decide what cameras you're going to use. Since I only have two cameras, I've got those two selected. And this is where you can select 60 Hertz or 50 Hertz. Okay, in this menu here, this is the motion sensing sensitivity. And I had a hard time figuring out how to do this, but you just click it and see the little running man. There's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. Those are your sensitivities for your motion sensing. This is to schedule recording or set it up for manual recording, whatever you want to do. This is you can set this up to do what you want at whatever time, which I don't see a need for most people to use. This is the timed recording. This is where you choose how long you want the video to record. So I have it set to the lowest. 5 minutes is plenty. And this is where you format your memory card when you first put it in. Put in your memory card, click this to format it, and the system settings are the time, but as long as it's connected to the internet, you just hit this button right here, it'll automatically set your settings for you. This is the time that you want the monitor to turn off, like if you're running it on battery power, you don't want to use your battery up, so you can set it to go out at 10 minutes, and all you have to do is touch the screen to have it come back on. And then this is to go back to default settings. This is to select the language. This is to show you the firmware. If this needs a firmware update, it'll have a little triangle, red triangle, and you just hit the button and it automatically updates the firmware. You don't have to do anything with that. This is all your network settings. This is all also automatic, which I didn't realize that the password was visible. I clicked on that for later. This is the alerts. You have a choice of 3 different alerts for each one of these things. This is for the motion detection. This is for in case there's a disconnection of the camera. This is in case the battery goes low. And this is the volume of the alerts. And as you can tell, that's pretty low. There's level 2. There's level 3. Keep it on level 1. And then finally, the overall volume of the whole unit for everything. You can turn this up, and it gets pretty loud. I leave it down pretty low. So anyway, that's it really as far as how simple this thing is. It's dead simple. 7-inch screen, touch screen instead of those, you know, directional buttons and having to hit all those buttons like the Harbor Freight one. Since using this, I prefer this unit over the Harbor Freight, you know, the Cobra security system. I prefer this over that. This one I like quite a bit better than that, mainly for the portability with the battery and also the HDMI out port, which you do not get with the Harbor Freight unit. And right here towards the end, if you're interested in a video that I've taken off of here, this one will also do 1080p, where the Harbor Freight will only do 720p, and not really. It really does not function properly at 720p. There's a lot of stuttering and things like that. With this one, with just 2 cameras, it does operate you know, just fine. See, it just went out because it's on battery power. But it does operate just fine in 1080p, but the performance is not as good. The video quality is not as smooth. As far as the frame rate, you lose frame rate the higher in resolution you go, because there's only so much bandwidth. I know that not a lot of people are going to understand what I'm saying, but trust me, just leave it on 720 and you know, the HD setting, and it just performs better that way, especially if you have multiple cameras. If you only have 1 camera, then you could probably set it at 1080p and probably not notice a performance hit. The app is exactly the same as the Harbor Freight app. So if you've seen the Harbor Freight app on your phone, this one is the exact same app. It would appear, you know, just with different labeling and things of that nature, but very similar in the app performance and very similar in the app as well. So the range of this one has been acceptable. I haven't had any signal dropout. It's all worked really well. No interference or anything like that. The quality of the picture is you know, is really nice. The night vision performance is good. I'll show you some different clips of videos that I've taken off of this thing at the end of the video. And again, if it were me, I would choose this system over the Harbor Freight one. For me personally, if I were going to recommend a system like this for somebody, this is the best one that I've seen so far. Take that for what it's worth. There's nothing wrong with the Harbor Freight one. It works just fine, but this one does more, simpler, and it's the same amount of money thereabouts. So thanks for watching. We'll talk at you on the next one. If you have any comments, suggestions, or anything like that, post them in the comments and I'll try and answer them for you. Talk at you later.